I'm just looking over your code and I wanted to provide some feedback through a video, be a little easier to explain. So this part here, the constant declarations are good. The way you've declared them and what you've declared them for is perfect. Here on the city name and the pre-tax sales, I was looking for not assignment statements, but these values coming in from user input. So I want to show you a couple examples of that. I'm going to just pause the video for a second and open up your book. Okay, so if you look at the section 3.1 on the CN object, and you scroll down just a bit, there's a sample program here. So where the cout object is used to display a string, the cin object would be used to read a value from the user, keyed in from the keyboard, and write it to this variable here. Right? So you have an integer length that's been declared. The cin is console in. The console is usually that little black run window that you see when you run your code. And if you notice that the arrows are pointing in the direction of the flow of data, so data is coming in from the console and going into this variable here. So this is a good example. Another example is working with strings. And when you're working with strings, strings behave a little differently. That's in section 3.8. When you're working with strings, you could use a cin statement. There's a sample here on using a cin for a string, right, for name and city. So just like this, please enter your name. The user will see a flashing cursor on the screen, and they will type in their name. The problem comes in when there's a space in the name. So if you do first name space last name, or if you do a city like Niagara space Falls, cin will only read until it encounters the first space. It sees the space and it stops. Okay, so in this example here, where the name is Kate Smith, it does not read Smith, it reads Kate. Okay, so working with strings, you would want to use what's called a getLine. A getLine is a function. It has parentheses, and inside the parentheses, the first part is always cin. That's the task it's performing, and the second part is the variable name. So in the case of city, you would just put city here, and this way the user then can type in a two-word, with a space in between city. So it's used just like this. Okay. So in your code, that would be the change that you need to make here is remove this value, and do you have any other questions today? And then allow the user to enter those values. So, enter city, and then another statement, the getLine, the cin first, and then the variable second. Okay, and doing that then, now I don't have, city name, sorry. I don't have input for this value, so we won't have our calculations working correctly. But so notice here you have the user sees the flashing cursor, and so the input now could be, right, with a space in between. The user presses enter. The minute you press enter, then it accepts the input and displays it here in your cout statement right here. So for the pre-tax sales amount, you would need to use not a getLine, but a cin instead. So take a look at those two sections in your book, the 3.1 and 3.8, and see if that helps. The only other thing I would say here is if I run this, let's see, I'll just abbreviate. Oops.